Hey guys, Tim McAmis. I'm going to take a little bit of time this evening to talk to you about Pro Mod. Pro Mod over the years has changed dramatically. Back in the early 90s when it was actually created, I was running Pro Mod then, and it was a totally different class than it is today. There are lots of variations of what is so-called Pro Mod today, and there's a whole different arena of cars that run that could be called Pro Mod, but they run in different associations. But I want to talk to you a little bit today about what I consider the purest form of Pro Mod. That would have to be what's run at NHRA, because it still runs quarter mile. It still has a somewhat resemblance of the rules from the original days. But you know, over the years, the rules have changed and they've been manipulated by people in the class bitching about this or that they didn't like, and what's happened is it's diluted Pro Mod into what it is today. And back when I was running in the early 90s and mid 90s, I mean, you had a whole host of really colorful characters running, and it was almost like a circus act. I mean, there were so many different people out there, and the cars were out of control, they were unmanageable, and the show was phenomenal. Today, it's kind of like the cars are so automated that they really don't make any bad runs. I mean, they're very much out of the control of the driver. And that started years ago when some guys were bitching about the shifting of the cars, and they couldn't make the 1-2 because, I don't know, they were getting old and couldn't make the shift or whatever, I don't know. Something caused them to be able not to make that. And so they got the auto shifter added. Now, when I was running Pro Mod, it was very manual. I mean, you shifted the cars. Auto shifters weren't allowed. You ran a clutch. You left with the clutch. A blown car didn't have a two-step control. You brought the throttle up and held it, and you staged it at that RPM, and then you let the clutch out, and there wasn't all this computer-controlled lead. You know, so over time you get the auto shift and then fluid-driven converters, so you could run a converter drive in the car instead of a clutch. So that took the clutch tuning out, and that brought in a whole host of other things that were able to control with a little computer to make the car do what you wanted. And then the bump box for the turbo cars, which is a totally asinine piece of equipment. And other things that were created were like the RF safety device at the finish line. You know, that came about with some crashes that happened, and it's a good safety device when it's needed. Some guys will actually rely on that to shut the car off and get the chutes out. You know, if you're not paying attention in the car and you get down to the other end and you kind of lose track of what's going on, so you rely on that RF to do it for you. Really, everything that the driver does other than line it up on the starting line has been taken away. So you don't have to shift it. You don't have to stage it. You can just bump it in with a button. You don't have to bring the engine up. The ignition box takes over that for you. All you got to do is put it on the wide open throttle stop. If you've got a converter drive, instead of actually any function of the driver's foot, it's just flipping off of a transbrake button like a super gas car is. So once you let off that button, the car's going to shift itself. The timing's going to come out. You got a computer in there that's taking care of the timing control. So you got all these timing curves in there now that go up and down and change. And if you know, and you can say what you want about traction control. Traction control is not legal in Pro Mod, but let's face it, we've got these computers hooked up to these cars, and we got 8 magnets on the drive shaft ring, and we're controlling what goes on by that drive shaft sensor. So, you know, say you have it, say you don't, but the shit is that it's buried in all those electronics out there. Traction control is whether you want to call it that or call it something else or drive shaft manipulation, it's still all controlled by the electronics in the car and the crew chief tuning it back in the pits before you ever get to the starting line. So over time, the rules have been changed and changed and changed. And then now NHRA has decided that possibly for 2018 that lockup converters are going to be allowed for a nitrous Pro Mod. So in essence, you know, Pro Mod's kind of deteriorated to a point where the driver isn't really necessary. We actually did a little joke a couple years back on a drone Pro Mod for April Fools and got a lot of incredible feedback from that, and people thought it was real. But it was kind of the same thing, but now we're taking it even a step farther. So you've got, you know, nitrous guys out there that still might be running a clutch. Well, you know, it's not their fault. If you're going to allow them to run a lockup converter, hell, I'm going to buy a lockup converter. Why wouldn't you? Why are you going to fight that and still not take advantage? I mean, it's if the rules are there, the drivers are going to take advantage of it whether they like it or not. I mean, even if you like to shift the car, and auto shift is faster, you're still going to put the auto shift in. So, like I said, keeping up with that over the years, that has really changed the class a lot. In my opinion, not for the better. You know, there's always this conversation around how do you keep it equal? How do you keep a turbo and a nitrous car and a blower car all equal? Well, I tell you what, guys, if you put a clutch back in these things, took away the auto shift, let the drivers shift the cars, let them stage themselves, let the blower cars have to bring the RPM up and not put it on a two-step, let a turbo car have to bring that same thing up, just don't use a bump box. I mean, you're going to equalize that class overnight. It's a pipe dream, it's not going to happen, but it's worth talking about. I mean, it would be nice to get back to those times when the class was a lot more exciting to watch, instead of keep adding all these electronics over the years to where pretty soon you don't need a driver. We're in this business, and for us to keep up, we like to come up with new products, and since this is a fact of life, we've built a kit. Basically, it's a Pro Mod starter kit. And so if you decide if you want to run Pro Mod, you can buy this starter kit, and once you get it, it's all you need to know to run a Pro Mod car. So the first item that you get in the kit is this push button. So this is what you're going to use to run the car with. So this is just a simple little push button. Push the button in, locks up the transmission, car stops, let off the button, it goes. All you basically got to do your burnout, pull the car to the starting line, get it somewhat straight, push this button in. When the tree comes down, let out on the button. After that, everything's done for you. So as you're sitting in the car with nothing to do, we wanted something for you to occupy your time. So what we've got is, we're going to give you a bag of Cheetos and this 44-ounce fountain drink. So as you're riding down the track, after you let off this button and you're looking around after you get done waving at the people in the stands, you can open the bag of Cheetos, have a few, drink some soda. You can get this in, we'll send it to you with Mountain Dew or Coke or whatever you like for flavor. And when you get down to the other end, you don't even have to stop eating the Cheetos. The RF device will pull the chutes for you and shut the car off. You are going to have to set it down long enough to turn the car off the end of the track and let the guys down there packing the chutes throw the shit up on the wing. But other than that, you can go back to eating your Cheetos, because your crew guys are going to come down and hook onto the car and pull you back to the pits. So this will be on the website here next week. It's $149.99 for the kit. It comes just like you see. There'll be a little drop-down box so you can pick the flavor of soda you want. We'll ship it overnight to you, free shipping, and there'll be instructions in the box on how to use it. But if you watch the video, this is stop, this is go. That's all you need to know. Stop, go. Once you got that, you're done. After you go, don't hit this anymore going down the track, because it will stop. So this is only one time. So let off this button and go, and then you're done. Then you can open the bag of Cheetos and drink the Mountain Dew. So check it out. We got them in stock. Get it to you overnight, and you're set to go. Thanks.